The Mornington Peninsula Foundation is a place-based foundation specifically working on the Mornington Peninsula. The foundation was set up really to try to understand and possibly address, if we could, the great inequity on the peninsula between extreme wealth and really intense disadvantage, which has been around for many years.
I visited a local kinder to look at, I like to get my eyes on our students coming for the next following year, and I was quite concerned that the oral language component, I actually couldn't understand a number of the students who were speaking to me. And on the way back from the kinder back to school, I sort of went, well, I think we're going to need some help, and I think we need a speech therapist, and I think I know someone that might be able to help me with that. So I made a phone call to Steph and explained the situation, and I was really in a very fortunate position to have Steph on the end of the phone, really excited about what that could look like.
I think when you're looking at place-based reform, ultimately we kind of all know it's got to be about systems change, but you can't start there. You've got to start where the community's at. So when we started, it was very limited oral language in the children coming to primary school that was identified as the problem. This was a real barrier to them learning to read. So what that led to was a big conversation with all of the principals, all the school leaders saying, so how are we going to sustain this change? And that's what led to the transition to the science of learning, science of reading, and applying evidence-based practices, which the speech therapists had been using anyway, to the teaching of reading, so that the more kids in every single prep class would actually learn to read.
Back around 2020, myself and the Year 1 classroom teacher, we were really investigating the science of learning and how we could improve our teaching at Toogoorul Primary School. Back in those days, we were making our own resources, we were writing our own decodable readers, and we were designing our own worksheets, because we knew then that we needed to be really explicit in the way that we were teaching our students. We already had a relationship with Steph and the Mornington Peninsula Foundation, and it was during that time that Steph kind of asked how she could support us at school, and we got involved. Steph was able to fund some coaching with Amina McLean, which was absolutely amazing. So Amina worked with myself and the junior school, and then we involved Billy Morrison, who was working in the middle school at the time. He's now our learning specialist, and he really drives a lot of the work we do around the science of learning and reading.
Our relationship with the Mornington Peninsula Foundation goes back to 2017. We started work around looking at disengagement and re-engagement and piloting a program that's still running today called Elevate, which captures young people and stops them disengaging completely from the education system and provides a pathway back through mainstream with some targeted supports. Where Mornington Peninsula Foundation stepped into a space of support was around risk mitigation. It was something that our schools really wanted to make a difference to the outcomes for young people, but didn't necessarily have the resources to be able to do it.
So I think risk as well as trust is actually at the heart of all this work. Who can take a risk better than a philanthropic organisation? That's the whole point of philanthropy. It's to go where others don't or can't. And risk-taking is the thing that enables change. You have to take a risk on a new thing, and philanthropy enables that.
Had some ideas, but they were really, really early thoughts about what could make a difference. I was fortunate to be able to go to the Harlem Children's Zone in New York and see what place-based intervention can really look like. And we came back from that at Western Port, along with two of our feeder primary schools, and said, what can we do on like a micro scale and start small? So we set up what was then the Western Port Learning Guarantee, and it was a commitment to have every young person in our community to be at the expected level by the time they reach Year 10. We had no idea how we were going to do it. It was just a really ambitious vision of what we were going to put in place for our community.
We did it with a local primary school in 2023, and since then we worked with some of the people on the Western Port side for some of those schools to embed classroom routines there. Today we've got a whole bunch of other primary schools here and a specialist school doing the same work.
It's now called the Mornington Peninsula Learning Guarantee and is now crosses right across the peninsula to really make that impact on, as I said before, the change to the outcomes for kids not being determined by postcode.
The Mornington Peninsula Learning Guarantee is a partnership between Mornington Peninsula Foundation and schools on the Mornington Peninsula, and ultimately it's collaboration. So it's collaboration between schools where once they might have worked in silos and everyone was building work from the ground up by themselves. Schools in one area wouldn't know what the school up the road was doing, and the Mornington Peninsula Learning Guarantee has sort of broken down those walls.
There's been this real generosity and collaboration of sharing that we've shared with so many schools. I think we did close to 30 school visits last year. The Mornington Peninsula Foundation have helped support some phenomenal evidence-based training in schools, whether that be systematic synthetic phonics training, very street education model training around routines, and classroom teacher skills, and also that common consistent language across the cluster, which I don't think you get everywhere, that we're all speaking the same language around the programs that we're using.
We had over 300 teachers from 5 new schools come to Rosebud Secondary, all to learn about classroom routines. It was a magic moment where we had our very proud school leaders from the secondary schools delivering the professional learning and then workshopping it with all these teachers from schools new to this cluster. They're now coaching those schools on these routines on a regular basis.
So the impacts that we're seeing through the Mornington Peninsula Learning Guarantee would be that we're seeing consistency of teaching practice across schools. So it doesn't matter which of our schools you walk into, you see similarities in all of the classrooms, which is really nice to see. We're also building middle leadership, so through the literacy lead community of practice, we're able to further develop those leaders, which then is informing system change because we'll have assistant principals and principals later on that are really well developed. And I guess it's important to also note that the Mornington Peninsula Foundation help us to do this by putting in the conditions for the work. So they're able to help release teachers to get out of the classroom to do their work. We're able to connect principals. Without the foundation, the system's not set up for that.
So we recently held a meeting here with 2 other schools that were weighing up doing these routines as well, and we gave them the feedback on how well it's gone at our school, and they've gone ahead and done it as well. So now the feedback is that we're all sharing that practice. We're all very consistent, that, a little bit different with our cue to start and a little bit different in, how we start and finish lessons or whatever, but you do it to suit your school. But the overarching goal is that we're all sharing ideas and we're all developing together. So I think the connection piece throughout the schools in the community has been a huge part, and then to connect with the secondary colleges as well who are doing it. So we're all on the one page, and we all want the same thing. We all want happy kids being able to learn and walking out of the school with a smile on their face at the end of the day and having achieved.
The impact on our student learning outcomes has been extensive. We have most of our students are leaving the early years being able to read with really great accuracy and fluency, and if they're needing some extra support, then we're able to provide that now.
I'd characterise the way that MPF has worked with Crib Point Primary School and other schools in the Learning Guarantee as deeply connected. They're attending steering committee meetings regularly with school leaders. They're coming out to do school visits and deeply connected to the moral purpose of the work, which is driving communities forward through education and empowering communities through education, as well as a deep-seated respect, which I think comes through the organicness of this place-based work.
All this work has been based on the relationships that we have built with the community. Data is very important. We do all depend on data transfer as well, but the relationships are what provide the possibility of really authentic information flow from one to the other back again. And it's the information you have about issues that enables you to solve problems. But you only get that information if you have deep trust.
I think the concept of philanthropy is the missing piece in the puzzle to me. It's the piece that you have professionals who are doing their work and doing it so well and passionately, but they're constrained by a system which is set up to do great work, but it also has limitations. And I think philanthropy gives you the freedom to experiment and try different things.
So the MPF is a nexus between different sectors of the community. Everyone has something to offer. and we all need things at different times in our lives. When we recognise that, we can go into this work with great abundance of opportunity and great vision, and that's what actually pulls it all together.